Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Ryan. In this video, I will describe what a highly sensitive person, also known as an HSP, is, and how to tell if you are one, and if so, how to make life better for yourself or the HSP in your life. It may be that you have a young child who is a highly sensitive person. If you do, it's great to know now so you can have a better understanding of how to support your child as they grow up. I'm a bit of an expert on this topic because I possess many traits of an HSP. Actually, 15 to 20% of the population is estimated to fall in this group. Chances are pretty good that you interact with a highly sensitive person in your daily life. First, let's talk about what that is. Have you ever been told that you are too sensitive? Or maybe someone you know comes to mind. Being a highly sensitive person, or HSP, is not a clinically diagnosed condition. The term HSP describes someone with sensory processing sensitivity. It has been described as an increased sensitivity of the central nervous system and also involves deeper cognitive processing of physical, social, and emotional stimuli. The highly sensitive person, or HSP, has increased emotional reactivity and empathy. They also process information to a greater depth than most people. These traits lead to a greater awareness of emotional subtleties and an increased susceptibility to overstimulation. Psychologists Elaine and Arthur Aaron developed the Highly Sensitive Person Scale in the mid-1990s. Aaron and colleagues state that scoring high on this scale is not a disorder. I read Elaine Aaron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person, after it came out in 1996. I suddenly knew why, when I was a child, I liked to go sit in my small walk-in closet, sometimes in the dark, if I was upset. In there, it was quiet. I could think. Stimulation of all types was at a minimum. It's fascinating to see yourself described on the pages of a book. The defining trait of being an HSP is sensory processing sensitivity. As individuals, we all fall at different places on the spectrum of various traits, low to high. In medicine, we diagnose based on subjective and objective findings. Few individuals possess all the textbook traits of a specific condition. Therefore, any trait assessment should be considered in light of the whole person. Nonetheless, in a moment, you will get a feel for whether or not you are a highly sensitive person. Even if you aren't a highly sensitive person, it's likely that someone you know is. You can use the information in this video to help you develop awareness and consideration for those around you. Here are the things many HSPs experience. 1. Heightened response to stimuli such as pain, caffeine, hunger, and loud noises. This is why I always ask for corner seating in a restaurant. It's more relaxing for me than being in the middle of the room where there are a lot of noises to filter out. If I'm talking to someone or just trying to think, I'd much rather be in a quiet place. 2. Feeling overwhelmed by loud noises, strong smells, bright lights, and crowded places. 3. Experiencing emotions intensely and being deeply affected by the emotions of others. Many HSPs will avoid the daily news and steer away from violent television programming for this very reason. 4. Being highly attuned to the feelings and needs of others, often displaying a great deal of empathy. Maybe you pick up on the tension between people and it affects you. Maybe the Suffering Animals commercials are way too much for you. 5. Having a deep appreciation for art, music, and natural beauty. HSPs see and experience beauty where others don't. I can be walking along and see a weed that has a beautiful bloom, beautiful to me. I may want to stop and see it, but the person I pointed out to may think I'm pretty strange to even notice it. 6. Being introspective and enjoying spending time in quiet reflection. HSPs need alone time to recharge. It's been estimated that 70% of HSPs are introverts, but not all of us. Extroverts can be HSPs too. 7. Often taking time to consider aspects of a situation before making decisions, all the aspects. It's called pause to check. We observe more than others before we take action. I relate to this one. Most of the time, this is a good thing, but I have been known to take too long and get bogged down in something, so I try to be careful about that. 8. Can be easily overwhelmed by stressful situations, conflict, or social events due to heightened sensitivity. An example would be getting rattled when there's a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. When I was in medical school, we weren't supposed to take the charts away from the nurse's desk, but I had to because if I went into a quiet space, I could get my work done in a third of the time. The list of characteristics I just gave you should give you an idea about HSPs. If this describes you or someone you know, then it is good to understand that these characteristics bring with them challenges and strengths. First, let's talk about the challenges. The first challenge is overstimulation. As just described, being around bright lights, noises, crowded spaces can easily overwhelm an HSP. Another challenge is emotional exhaustion. Feeling emotions intensely can be tiring and emotionally draining. Then there is difficulty with criticism. Negative feedback can be particularly difficult for an HSP to process. All my childhood, okay? And finally, some HSPs struggle with social anxiety. This is because their heightened awareness of social cues and potential for overstimulation can make them feel anxious. If this is you, you may come by it very honestly. One last challenge I'll mention is that of emotional loneliness. Though HSPs may frequently talk to others, they can feel alone in their depth of experience, and it can feel futile to try to explain themselves. I also notice with all these symptoms, if I'm rested, I can handle it all a lot better, but if not rested, it's a different story. So we're sleep sensitive too. There are many ways that a person can help themselves with sensitivity traits. Good ideas include maintaining a supportive environment that'll manage overstimulation. In the science library at my college, I asked permission to use the graduate student study rooms when they were vacant. I explained that even quiet talking distracted me when I was reading. My request was granted, and I was very happy. For those who really struggle with their sensitivity, support groups exist. There, coping strategies can be discussed in a safe space. In this environment, other HSPs can also help relieve the emotional loneliness I mentioned before. HSPs also need to set boundaries that work for themselves. We have to learn to say no in order to protect energy. Many HSPs expend precious energy just trying to manage the flood of input that all the senses can deliver. Energy management is crucial and needs to be a priority. Last but not least, mindfulness is a great practice for an HSP. It can help a person manage stress and stay grounded. Mindfulness is about getting in touch with self and surroundings and being in the moment. Dealing with one moment is not overwhelming. It's when we take on the future and the past that we get into trouble. That is too much to consider at once. Now, let's talk about some of the strengths of HSPs. Strong intuition is common among HSPs. They can pick up on subtle cues that others miss. HSPs are often very creative. Their deep emotional processing and sensitivity can enhance creativity. HSPs are also great at solving problems. Because they pay attention to detail and are very empathetic, they are good at identifying and resolving issues. And I think this next one is the best one: deep relationships. HSPs often form meaningful and deep connections with others. I think it is a great gift to be able to connect with others on a more than superficial level. That level is a bit boring to me. Learning who someone really is and sharing who we really are creates sustaining connection. Liking deep conversation is something common to HSPs. Even so, HSPs may still experience the emotional loneliness I mentioned. If you would like to take Dr. Elaine Aron's test, the Highly Sensitive Person Scale, you'll find it at hsperson.com. There is a lot of other great information on that site as well. I hope this video highlights that we are not all the same. Maybe the person who winces at a little cut is not such a wuss. Maybe the composer who can create 12 parts in his opus has the advantage of an exquisitely sensitive nervous system. Any way you slice it, celebrating each other's differences is far better than criticizing someone who experiences things differently than we do. Too often, people jump to conclusions about others because they only consider their own experience. An empowered mind knows that our experience is quite limited. If we stay humble, we can learn. If we learn, we can gain understanding. These days, we need a little of that, don't you think? HSP or not, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Till next time.